All right, the first one is actually a comment posted less than a day ago on the video what is Duginism and why it matters. Of course, Russia is again in the headlines, therefore more people again watch my old video, my 5-year-old video, what is Duginism and why it matters. So, Damn Yankee 2137, give us your take on what's going on right now with Russia pushing its neo-Nazi narrative and bioweapon labs narrative regarding Ukraine. Lots of Americans can't see through the manipulation, triangulation and projection being used by the mentally ill leader of Russia and his flying monkeys. Okay, first of all, it is quite a bit wrong to consider Putin mentally ill. He's not.
He knows very well what he's doing.
He's not. Let's unpack, let's start with the bioweapon labs. At the fall of the USSR, all former Soviet republics, yes, including the Baltics and Kazakhstan and Georgia and Armenia and yes, Ukraine. I guess Moldova would be the only exception, really.
Yeah, because Moldova was an agrarian country.
Yeah, Moldova and Latvia, I guess, are the only exceptions. Yeah, Lithuania has a biolab inherited from the USSR, and Estonia has a nuclear biolab in the former closed city of Sillamäe. So really, Moldova and Latvia are the only former Soviet republics that don't have, and probably Tajikistan too, although I'm not sure about that, because I haven't been to Tajikistan. So there's that. But I'll soon go in the other three, so keep shekeling, send me to the Gulag. Anyway, all countries of the former Soviet Union have inherited at least one biological research laboratory. Most of them were for purposes of epidemiological surveillance, sequencing of new viruses, sequencing, that is to say, grabbing viruses from nature or from people and see what the hell is going on with them. Right? You've heard a lot about sequencing during the pandemic of this fluffy cough, right? Mm-hmm. That's how you know whether it's the Delta variant or the process is called sequencing. Mm-hmm. So most of those were focused on that. Now, of course, some of them were also focused on research. The ones that had a military application have been closed by the USSR before proclaiming the end of the USSR. So,
for obvious reasons.
Yeah, I don't blame them. What I'm saying is that there are very few of them in operation today outside of Russia that can legitimately be claimed about that they have a military application. Now, of course, converting one of those civilian ones into a military application is not a particularly difficult process, although it's an expensive one. And if you follow the GDP per capita of all former Soviet republics, you'll realize that they really can't afford it. I mean, it's really that simple. So, specifically with regards to Ukraine, they inherited 9 such labs. Now, the wartime Russian propaganda says it's dozens of them. No, they're not dozens, it's 9. How do I know it's 9? Well, there is a treaty. Actually, there are 2. One signed between Ukraine and Russia in 1994.
Oh, the Budapest moratorium. That one was
a month afterwards.
Oh, okay.
After the Budapest memorandum, yes. And the second one is between Ukraine and the United States, signed in 2005, with Russia as an observing member of the treaty. So, it wasn't secret to Russia. It wasn't secret to the public either. The treaty is available online. You can all read it. It's available on the official website of it's basically gov.us. I mean, it's not a secret to anyone, right? And what makes the conspiracy theory easily swallowable, well, there are 2 aspects. One of them, very few people know where Ukraine is or basic geography of Ukraine. And secondly, because, well, it comes on the backdrop of the Wuhan Virology Institute incident. So obviously enough people are already primed into distrusting the government on this issue. The problem is that this time around nobody asks you to trust the Ukrainian government or the American government for that matter. you're being asked to trust a treaty signed by Russia, Ukraine, and the United States, which for some reason hasn't produced any accident, at least in the last 17 years. Really, never, but at least in the last 17 years since the treaty has been in force. So that's the narrative with bioweapon labs. They're basically taking a legit fact and spinning it a bit to sound more dangerous. But when you try to... Sure, the worst thing that you can find in that story, however, you can find a bit of NIH corruption, yeah, sure. But then again, is anyone really surprised that the NIH is a corrupt organization? So that's the part concerning bioweapon labs.